Okay, YouTube. Now, I wanted to mention this. Now, this is Kunai Badger, and I was going to show you that it's not all that hard to make one of those practice kunai daggers made of dense foam. See, this is all you would need apparently is some kind of really dense craft foam. And then from there, of course, you probably need layers of it, that's all. Now what you do from there is probably just, I don't know, you probably heat it up together using some kind of a heat gun. But judging from how rough the heat gun is, like industrially, you don't need a heat gun. All you would really need is a blow dryer because of the how sticky it can really be if you peel that off, and then you realize there that stuff has enough stickiness, or whatever to actually stick together. But you're going to have to heat it up just right. I mean, heat it up slightly, and it'll you won't need anything but a hairdryer, and just run that over after it heats up a little, and then even on low heat it probably should help. So you press those together after adding some kind of a glue. You can probably use wood glue or some kind of anything like that, something non-toxic, and just a little big sliver. But of course this will be bigger. It'll be big enough to fit in your hand, so that should be perfect. Now you got to pay close attention to the ring pommel of the dagger, of the practice dagger, because that part needs to be also glued on the inside. Also, you got to remember that. If not, it's just not gonna. It's gonna be very flimsy, you know. So doing all of this, yes, will probably give it a really good gloss, you know. Also for the, it doesn't matter what color you get. After that, all you do is just take it outside during a really sunny day, just like that, really that sunny, beautiful, where you can keep it in the shade until you can bring it to a spot where it's really sunny. Then you in the shade you put a gloss sheen of black, spray paint gloss black on it, and then bring it out in the sunlight for it to dry. That's all you gotta do. Of course, you gotta probably use a good big board for it to carry. That's big enough you won't get any paint on it on the sides, you know. And that's all it is. But it has to be good, clean wood, you know. It's fresh wood bought from Lowe's or Home Depot. And then from there on, you just turn it over, and after it's dried, and you can add as many layers as you want. Probably about up to 3 or 4 layers if you want the desired stiffness for the for all of the craft foam. And craft foam, it usually does come in pretty large sizes, so not large but pretty widespread sheets. So just buy one sheet would definitely be enough for 1 or 2 daggers, 1 or 2 practice daggers. Now this is really funny. I mean, I took my dad by surprise, kind of like a playful manner. I was walking up to him on the just my hands in my pockets. I had actually made one of those practice throwing stars. Now the same material as the shop foam, some kind of a workshop foam that, you know, you use he had some, and then I made some throwing stars out of them and one into a kunai dagger. And that was pretty funny. I walked close enough with my hands in my pockets, looking kind of down, like I was tired. And finally, I whipped my hand out of my pocket and got him right in the belly. But he said he didn't even know he didn't feel anything or see it. I was like, what? If that was a real Shuriken star, of course this was meant as being silly, He was like, "Well, I didn't feel nothing. I didn't see nothing either. Yeah, what'd you do?" He just froze for a minute. He was like, "What?" He kind of laughed, But there you go. That's how you practice, And that didn't have any real effect because it was just a little bitty piece of foam, about maybe like that or so. And those are small enough you can, keep in your pocket for a surprise attack during a surprise technique during a spar. But you gotta be able to really surprise your opponent. And ninjas have that kind of way. They would always use surprise tactics on their opponents, and if they had to take someone out seriously. But that was meant for play. What I did with Dad, it was just funny. Which I would very much not advise using a real one. No, those are too deadly, too dangerous, especially at that close range. But it would have killed him, so I didn't do it. So, he kind of took it as silly, but he said, just don't use a real one, man. And I said, "Oh, Scout Honor, I would not do that to you." So that's all you do. I actually used this to create the straight edges for on the paper. See what I do if I was to make a real one, I'd use this. If I was to make a real one, and about that, it'd probably take a while, but because I don't have the right kind of tools or anything for that. Luckily, Dad has like some kind of a metal cutting wheel that he's never used once. I'm gonna have him do that sometime, where I can make this into just a simple practice thrower. Simple enough. I'm gonna have him make the ring area too. Together, if we could find, if he can, have this done for me. See, I'm no good with a drill bit, or with a drill bit. We probably get one of those big cone-shaped drill bits that are long, and then drill it into the ring pommel as good as we can. So that would create the bigger size perfectly. There you go. That's perfect. And then we take one of those same types of cone-shaped things that have the whatever you call it. That's made of whetstone. They actually sell those someplace. A lot of places. So when you do that, it'll create like a ring effect. And the rest, you just sand down with a metal, some kind of metal grit sandpaper to soften the edges down. That's all you gotta do. Simple enough. So if you need to do it that way, I recommend this hefty kind of steel anyway. If you want to make a real one, look at how good that would be, how effective that would really be. It would hold a good sharp edge. It would cut down on the time you need to keep it really whatever. But if you want to use something like this, you've got to have something like, especially for And now if you the times you at the time you make the handle, that's got to be rounded over, because if you don't, it's going to dig into your fingers really bad. And plus two, you've also got to take a strip of leather or something that, you know, like cloth, a piece of cloth, and glue that down, and then you wrap it around like over and over, gluing each piece one little bitty dot at a time. You don't really have to do both sides really, but my suggestion is that if you want it good and tight, clamp it to a table. You know, that's all you gotta do. Use something good to clamp it to a table, maybe. And if you have to use like a vice grip, you don't want to damage the table. So what I would really truly suggest is you place like a big piece of a cloth wadded up right between the clamp and the table itself, layered, like folded. That will prevent the table from getting, you know, from getting damaged. But for this, no, it's not really that bad, you know. It's good hefty steel, so you wouldn't have to worry about that really. So that's what you gotta do to be able to keep it good and still, you know, where it won't move around. Very simple. Okay, YouTube. Well, practice safely and as well as use tools responsibly. This is Kunai Badger signing off.